Before we have some fun and get into making some music, we really have to get into some of the boring minutia of the settings inside a Maschine. So we want to be equipped to get going right away in the right way. All right. So first of all, first page is the general page. A couple things to note here. So metronome, by default, not by default actually, you set this here to record if you want the metronome to turn on every single time you would hit the record button. I think that's a great idea so you can keep in time, especially as you're starting out as a beginner. And then the level, how loud is that metronome going to be? I think by default it's -6, which is kind of quiet, I've noticed. So I like to turn mine up to about 5 or whatever. You can get as crazy as you want. And if you want it to be a signature, every quarter note or 16th note, whatever. All right, moving on. Count in. This is important. So when I hit shift record, you'll get like a 1 bar count in at this point. Maybe you want it to be 2 bars or longer. This will give you kind of a way to hit record and then prepare so you can hit right on the downbeat and start recording. Time signature, classic 4/4, maybe you want to do 3/4 or 7/8. You can always change that when you need. Moving over another page right here. Project. This is basically going to mean, do you want to reload the last project you had up every time you power on Maschine? I like to turn it off because I like to start from a blank slate usually. Quantize, very important. So you can turn quantize off. You can record your stuff and then use a shortcut to quantize after the fact if you like, or you can have it set to record. So as I'm recording, basically the notes are going to come in, and then when I'm done, they're quantized to the grid I have set. You can also have this play record, which basically corrects almost your playing. So it's weird, like the pads only fire off based on the grid you have set up to quantize to. I find it a little weird, so I just like recording. All my stuff's locked in on time after that. You can come in at any time to the settings and turn this on or off as you like. Scene section. So this is an interesting one, scene and pattern. If I was to duplicate a scene to kind of make a different variation on it, so I have those 2 scenes. If I have scene and pattern selected, this will create new patterns every time you duplicate. This is a nice fail-safe to make sure you're not overwriting things that you didn't want to overwrite. Okay? I just keep mine at scene though in general. There's so many undo and redo functions inside a Maschine that everything's easy to go back if you mess something up. Pattern length, your default pattern length when you start recording. I like 2, you could set it to whatever you like. And an interesting one here is this pattern grow feature. So what this will do is basically if I turn it on, this isn't meant to, I start a pattern and I just jam for as long as I want, and then I stop, and it will basically truncate any like pattern that you recorded at that point. But it's meant to be a way for you to jam, and then you can go capture the best part of the jam, like maybe measures 6 through 10 were the best, right? So I prefer to keep it off, and I just keep re-recording until I get it perfect. That's how I write. Choose your own way as well. And then colors. Basically, when it's all set to auto, you're going to be able to kind of have each color be its own different, each sound would be its own different color. Easy to distinguish this way, but you can always change it so I could say each sound use the group color, so they're all going to be this fuchsia color, whatever group is loaded. All right, so really choose what you like, but it's nice to come into the settings after the fact. Maybe you really want to change a group color to blue because blue is your drums or whatever you prefer. Okay. Next, moving on, you have audio. So an interesting part about audio is that you have a built-in audio interface inside the Maschine Plus, but you can also connect a class compliant USB interface to one of the 2 USB ports in here. So if you need more inputs and outputs, or if you need phantom power, you can hook up a external audio interface. You have outputs and inputs, but for instance, you don't have like phantom power. So you might want to do that and select your interface here in the settings. MIDI, same thing. So if you hook up multiple MIDI inputs, MIDI devices, you'll see it all here and you can control it all there. You also have the ability to turn on Ableton Link if you want to jam with other computers or products that have Ableton Link in. Everything will be basically synced up in real time. Also, being able to send or receive clock from another device to jam along with in sync as well. Hardware, you can adjust the sensitivity of the pads or everything here. I pretty much leave this as default. Products, so you can see your library. Things I have installed, things that are available for updates, or everything available inside of my native access. All these different expansions that I haven't actually loaded onto this SD card yet. You can basically pick and choose and just load something up right from here, install it. Okay. Next, moving on, network. This is just basically your Wi-Fi capabilities. Turn it on, disconnect, refresh, whatever you need. System. This is always important to check back to from time to time. There's always going to be updates for Maschine Plus. So basically this is where you come if there's an available update. Things are always being tweaked. Things are always being improved. Check back here from time to time. All right. See if your machine is up to date. We are. Boom. And then lastly, the About page. If you want to essentially see all these great people who made Maschine Plus, give them a virtual shout out, you can by all means. All right. So most important on this page is getting your general settings together. Once we have that, we are ready to come to the browser. Actually, let's come to File. I'm going to go New, Discard, and now we have a blank template to start making a beat.